Okay, okay. Welcome everyone. With the kind of background Anirudh has, it is giving a flavor to the conversation. So I'm stuck with the trees. Okay, today's session is about sleep. We are Anirudh. I think you are muted, so I'll wait for you. Whenever you're ready, just give me a thumbs up.
Should be fine.
Shuru kare? Okay, let's
Yeah.
get started. Okay, so thank you everyone. Thank you, especially Anirudh for signing up to share your experiences with sleep. Sleep is such a big point for wellness and such a big concern for most of us. And thank you, Reshna, for organizing it. And thank you to each one of you who's joining and going to watch the video later. So we have kind of decided to have it as an interview or a podcast kind of a format. So I will start asking questions to Anirudh and curious myself as to how he responds and what we learn. With that, first question to you, Anirudh, is if we had to connect sleep and health, how would you relate it? Would you say that it is strongly related? You can say mental, physical health, just a connection between sleep and wellness on a broader perspective. We can deep dive later.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me, Sakshi. Thrive really changed my life, and in a big way. To answer your question, I think it's the underlying force on that determines your state of your mental health, state of your physical health. Sleep and health in general is a very high degree of positive correlation. You have good sleep, you have good health. If you don't have good sleep, you don't have good health. And my life until now has been a poster child of various forms of sleep, and I've struggled with it. I've improved it because of Thrive. We can of course talk more, as you said, but to answer your question, it's the backbone of your health. If you don't sleep, don't expect to be healthy.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. Backbone is such a strong word. Cool. So, if we go back in time, and you said sleep was a struggle earlier, and sleep is kind of at least your priority today, if I may use that word. Can you tell us one or two things which led to the shift, except Thrive, but like what was the mindset shift for those of us? Say, for example, we still prioritize work over sleep uh, in the night. What was that mindset shift?
I'll give some background on how things were and where I was. Like during college days, of course, your body doesn't really need a lot of sleep. It's because of the age. It's because of the energy levels you have, and you can be without a lot of sleep. But as I progressed from my college days into working life, and then like the life that what I'm leading right now, I continued that habit. And so I used to go to bed very late in the night. 11 was early for me. It went to 12 and then 1. And because I could do more, I could accomplish more by sleeping less. And of course, I had a lot to do. So I'm like, okay, we'll sleep a couple of hours later. It's fine. At least I'll get stuff done. And then the effects were not seen immediately, but they accumulated over time. So my thinking at that time was sleep is something that I need some, but I really don't need a lot of it. And it's okay if I sleep less a couple of days. And it took me a long time to realize that it is what is affecting my work performance eventually. It is what is affecting my mood, my mental health, a lot of those things. And so it is something to most people, it's probably not apparent immediately, as happened with me as well. It like in your words, Sakshi, it was an unlimited bank account that I could make withdrawals from without really affecting anything. But it's not that case. And so with sleep, the relationship was, yeah, it's something that I need, but I don't really need a lot, to a point now where I do need regular sleep at the right time. I need to go to bed at 9:30, no matter what. And the results are I'm still able to do more. And I'm still able to do it happily without being groggy, without being stressed out about things, without making mistakes. And yeah, I'm sure we'll dive in more, but I'm not sure if I'm answering a question right. That's kind of where I'm leading towards, that it was something that I did not consider to be important, and now it's paramount in my life.
Yeah. So if I would summarize and reflect back, please tell me if this makes sense. So what you're saying is, earlier we would think, I think I'm using the word we consciously, we would think that sleep, the lesser we sleep, the more we can accomplish.
Yeah.
But today we think it's the opposite. The lesser, sorry, the better we sleep, the more we accomplish. Your thoughts
Yes.
on
Yes.
yes. Yeah. Wow, that's profound. I wish someone told us way back, but then we would.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you. This is so powerful already, Anirudh. Okay, so I'm so just got goosebumps at your take on the mindset shift. So another question that I have for you is, this is for those of us in pre-contemplation stage, which we're still in denial. We still think that
Mhm.
less sleep is okay. So the question to you, welcome Swati, welcome Piyush. Um, we are starting on sleep and we're warming up. And Anirudh just said that earlier his belief set, summarizing earlier, the belief set was for most of us as is, but he summarizes it so well that the lesser you sleep, the more you accomplish. But now it's like the better we sleep, the more we accomplish. So this mindset has changed. Um, and this was more about accomplishment and more about work. Tell us more about any other pillar of health. You can use tangible metrics like blood work or um, feeling alert, etc. So sleep and work, I think we have ticked, but sleep and health, traditional way, maybe um, what we
Sure.
call, yeah, that's.
Yeah, I mean, like how we started, right? Sleep and correlation to your health is greater than one in mathematical terms, or it's strongly correlated. Uh, if I were to recollect a few of the facts, when I used to go to bed very late, 1 and 2, and I still wake up at 7 in order to start my day. Of course, things started. The body doesn't change or show signs immediately. It took years or more than almost a decade for me to show signs. Initially, it was okay and I could handle it. Going maybe 10 years down the line, it started showing in my stress levels. I was generally tired and I was generally low on energy all the time. It also led to high caffeine intake because I was sleeping less, so I need to stay alert in the day, and so I need to drink more coffee or drink more tea. I get more caffeine in my system in order to function at the same level at which I used to in the past. Um, High caffeine, we know the effects of caffeine from the program and in general awareness. High stress levels also. I was very stressed about everything, so it was kind of like a positive feedback loop that I sleep less to do more, and I could not do more. And when I could not do more, I was stressed, and because of that stress, I used to again sleep less, and it went back into that cycle. In terms of markers, blood work, yes, everything started going out of whack. Cholesterol levels, sugar levels, everything started getting elevated slowly. And because this desire to sleep less and do more, and not just do more in terms of work, find time for my entertainment, find time for friends, find time for other things. I find time for even partying. Even though I was tired, I wanted to party and then go. So led to also bad eating habits, because if you're staying up late, your body wants to give more energy to you. So I used to start eating and snacking late in the night. And usually at those times when you're either sitting in front of the TV and a laptop and a phone, you tend to not make good choices. You'll reach out to the packet of Haldirams, you'll reach out to the worst cookies that are possible in the world from your cabinet, and then you eat that. So that's why I said sleep. If I fixed sleep, a lot of the other things would fall into place, which is what happened with me as well.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I think by now, after listening to you, the motivation for sleep is solid. But I'll pick from what you said and take a little bit further. Is it okay if I ask follow-up questions on what you just?
Yeah.
Okay, so you said a few things which were very important. I think all of us struggle with those specific things. So you said work definitely, but you said it's not just work which compromises sleep. You said it's spending time with family, partying, or maybe unwinding, watching TV, relaxation. So let's say two columns. One is when we were sleep deprived. Say you were a few years ago. Now you're prioritizing sleep. In the second
Mhm.
category, you're prioritizing. How do you still make time for, say, family, kids, partying, because those are still important. So tell us the math around it. So if it is sleep plus family, earlier we could compromise sleep and get more family time. Now you're saying I'm not compromising sleep. Then how do you make time? This is a valid question that many of us have. How do you make time for other things?
Okay, that's a very well. That's question is the answer is apparent in my head. I'm trying to put it into words. When I was sleep deprived, let me try this take. When I was sleep deprived, everything that I was partaking in, everything that I was involved in, I was half involved in. I was not fully present because my mind and my body were not happy and not fulfilled or not completely, what's the word, present in whatever I was doing. So it took me longer to do things. So even if I were to extend my waking up time by 4 hours, it took me double amount of time to get the stuff done that I was doing. I was making mistakes if I were doing something myself at work or something, and it took me a longer time, of course, to fix it and do it right. It took mountains worth of effort to get out with the kids into the car and then take them somewhere and then be involved with them. If I'm reading something, it took me longer to read. My words per minute went down because was hard to process everything in that state. And now that I'm sleeping more, even a couple of hours more, much more energetic, I'm much more fulfilled, I'm much more awake, energized, that things just happen. So that's really the math behind it. If you sleep a little less, it takes you much longer to accomplish your tasks. But if you sleep more, you can still do those tasks and more, perhaps, depending on the individual. And then that's how time is created. So
Wow.
in essence, I'm creating time for myself.
This is so profound. I think this is something we can take in the program and help others also. So reflecting back to you, so you were saying, uh, don't take time as our perception of time has to change. It's not about how A plus B, where A is how many hours you sleep,
Yeah.
but B can change if you give adequate time to A, where A was sleep and B was others. Wow,
Yeah.
this is so powerful. So from our conversation where we started with someone who was in pre-contemplation, whether sleep is important or not. So you explained that beautifully, Anirudh. The second one was, okay, I understand sleep is important, but there are other things that are important. So to that, you have answered that please don't take uh, time as the only parameter. It's also effectiveness. It's also being present is the word to use. So so now I would switch gears to tangible uh, tips from your side. Say, for example, I've understood that sleep is important. I've understood that I want to prioritize, but I'm still not gotten into the habit of sleeping well. So there's always this transition period. So help us sail during that transition period where I've understood, okay, all well, sleep is important. But I still can't go to because I'm used to it. My body clock is used. What would you recommend during that transition period to get into the habit?
Um, I can use facets from the program. I latched on to one of the things that we talked about during the program, the one priority. Um, and that's helped me immensely in all fields of life. I made sleep my one priority. I did not do anything else except or I did not think about anything else as relates to my health except for sleep. I'm like, I'll have to hit the bed at 9:30 no matter what. So if I'm, let's say, juggling 10 different plates on straws at workplace, and I have to make sure everything is still up and running, I just let them fall. I'm like, it's okay. If it's 1 week, I mean, if you get sick, right? And during COVID times, if somebody got COVID or something, you would totally disconnect from work, like take sick days or anything. So I thought, let's just consider this to be my partial sick days. Even if work slips for some time, it's fine. Um, I bit that bullet and said to myself, like, let's sleep at 9:30, even though my body would not sleep because of the habit, right? I would still go lie down in bed, turn off the lights, pull the drapes, and still try to sleep. It took me an hour, 2 hours to actually fall asleep. But then once my body started getting used to the new rhythm, it was easy. So that's one thing. I mean, the discipline and was very important for me in order to reap the benefits. The other thing was that I during the transition time, because I wanted to sleep, I had to definitely start cutting down on caffeine. And my relationship with caffeine was very strong. Of course, everybody who consumes caffeine knows about caffeine withdrawal, headaches, and everything. And so, along with my sleep routine, I started reducing the amount of caffeine I took in my the intake started going down. So from, let's say, three spoonfuls of, and it used to be only 1 cup for me. It wasn't like I was having coffee or everything the whole or anything like that the whole day long. It was just the morning 1 cup. So I started reducing it from three spoonfuls of coffee to two and a half to two and a quarter to two, all the way down, so that I wasn't affected by the headaches. I could still function. And to my surprise, it just took about 18 days for me to completely go off of caffeine. So now I don't drink tea, any form of tea, except for maybe chamomile or something that's non-caffeinated, and definitely no coffee in my diet. So I'm totally coffee free. I have still 6 jars of coffee in my pantry, which I don't know what to do with. Um, and so that's one thing that helped with the sleep. The other thing was, of course, which was the hardest for me, getting rid of my devices before going to bed. Um, I I'm generally looking at my phone until I shut my eyes, and that was the hardest thing to do because, like, the habit of connecting with India. In India, my family used to wake up at that time, right? So connecting with them, or even answering work emails or anything on the web, like everything needs to be done on the internet these days. You can't really do something on paper and pencil. So that was very hard. My family is generally very angry at me that my phone is much more important to me than them. So I kind of used this. I told my son to go hide my phone at 7:30, switch it off and hide it somewhere. And that helped. He would find places to hide my phone, which I could not go find it even if I tried. So I mean that worked in my favor. So it took 1 week of anguish. Okay, I want to type on something, or I want to do something, or if there is somebody texting me. But then that was very, very, very helpful, like immensely helpful in me getting the shut eye I needed. Because if I were on my phone, and everybody knows the effect of blue light, so no matter how orange you turn your phone, it doesn't really affect it. It's probably a marketing thing, and or at least it doesn't affect me. I shouldn't speak to what others are doing, but if I'm looking at my phone until 9:30, no matter how orange it is, I can still not sleep until 11:30. So I had to get rid of my phone at least 2.5 hours before. So yeah, I let work suffer for a little bit, but then I bounced back much stronger after that. So once I was able to sleep at 9:30, I could easily wake up at 5:36, and my body was happy because it was light outside. I was sleeping when it was dark. I was waking up when it was light. So my body adapted very quickly, and I was able to function much more. So in the mornings when my family was still sleeping, I still had some time to go to work. I was able to answer all emails from the teams overseas. I was able to get dead work, which I call like responding to pending Slack messages or emails or doing something that you generally tend to do. And it gave me much more time in my day to accomplish important tasks. So in the morning, I was fresh. I could get my meditation done. I could go for a walk or a run or whatever it was. So it really helped multiply time for at that time. So yeah, I mean, these are the few steps that I did, if I remember correctly, to get back into a healthy sleep routine.
Wow, this is so powerful. And I must say, I've heard that I've listened to many, many podcasts on sleep before, but this is so real because of the fact that it sounds like you are talking about struggles that all of us have, and it's so raw and real. So I'll summarize for all of us. Nisha, thanks for joining. So we have obviously covered that sleep is important, non-negotiable. Then we also discussed that there is contemplation state where I don't know where I know sleep is important, but I just can't. And then you said that, hey, don't treat sleep. It'll change your perception of time. Will be effective. So time, don't think of it as sleep plus everything else. Sleep will help you uh, achieve everything else better. But then the third was very important. Now we are getting to more and more finer details, and then transition is what we just discussed. And you said three things which I can take away. The first one is the mindset, which is one priority, and you equated it to, if I have sick day, then I drop all the balls. Similarly, treat sleep that way. The second one was the gadget thing. Oh no, the second one was caffeine. So during transition, caffeine, because that's like the top low hanging fruit that you can attend to. The third one was gadgets. And you are saying that during transition, it's okay to take help of your family, and a little bit brute force is okay because you're struggling
Yeah.
time to let go of an addiction, if I may call it. And one thing which I'm going to use in the next program was very important, which you said about blue light. You said, yes, blue light and all, I understand, but phone is more than blue light. It's the distraction, it's so many
Yeah.
things your brain can't wind down. So this is so powerful, Anirudh. Eshna, I don't know whether we can do it, but maybe we can you and I can sit together to write down these pointers, because we're very gradually going from pre-contemplation to contemplation to now preparation stage. Welcome, Soumya. Welcome, everyone.
Yep,
Uh,
yep, absolutely.
this is very powerful. Yes. Thank you, Anirudh. This is very structured and helping us guide through the process. Now I'm with think of someone who has kind of more or less a sleep routine but keeps going back and forth. Say, for example,
Mhm.
I've understood sleep. I've like maybe 3 out of 7 days I sleep at 9:30, but 4 out of 7 days I sleep. And that time I regret and I'm guilty that, oh my God, I've understood everything. Still, I'm not, sticking to it all the time. So talk us through, so transition two, where I am not like a brushing kind of a habit, but I'm in a state
Mhm.
I still keep going back and forth and not a solid habit. Question one, have you been there? Question two, if yes, what would be your recommendation? If no, what would be your recommendation?
This is very hard, and because it all, even though it's been what almost 2+ years since I've started a healthy sleep habit, it still happens to me. And the thing with sleep, and I think we all know it, is if you're, let's say you're in bed and you're trying to sleep and you're not sleeping, thinking that, oh my God, I'm not sleeping, I want to sleep, and that will push your sleep out further. You won't be able to sleep. You're stressing yourself out. And so guilt is something that, like with exercise, like don't be guilty that, oh my God, I didn't exercise. Same thing with goes with sleep, because it'll push your success out further. So it's okay, it happens. Like I'm traveling to India right now, and whenever I travel, the sleep goes for a toss, of course, and I cannot sleep on a plane. It's just not possible. You give me even a first class seat, I cannot sleep on a first class seat. It's just not comfortable. I want my bed, I want my pillow. uh, so yeah, I'm in India right now. Yesterday I was out with the kids and I was out with my family. I slept at 11 last night. And I was like, oh my God, I need to wake up in the morning for this session. It took a while for me to sleep. And I think it's okay. times. Like there are cheat days when you go to gym or something, you have cheat days, you eat something. But I think if you have that struggle going back and forth, I think it's fine. It's okay. The important thing to do at that time is to be kind on yourself. Uh, you are attending to a lot of things in life, and sometimes some things need more. Like if a friend needs me at midnight for whatever reason, I have to be there. I'll go there. I will wake up and I'll go there, and it will compromise sleep. But resilience and your willpower to keep your health going is important at that time. Bring yourself back. Um, so yeah, again, that's my answer to that. You will get there, and you learn to bounce back if you're having time when you cannot sleep or there are things taking your time.
Wow. Well, thank you. Thank you for redefining consistency and also highlighting and repeating that kindness is also important. If you're guilty, then it will make it worse. So thank you.
Yeah.
One thing, can we all take, Anirudh, is it okay if we take one question, maybe just one question till whatever we have covered before diving deeper? Sure. Anyone, if you have any question, if you're enjoying and listening to him and want to ask questions later, that's up to you. But if you want to ask questions till whatever we have covered, and this is very, very powerful, whatever you're sharing, Anirudh. So thank you again. Whoever wants to ask question, one or maybe one question, and then we'll reserve for later so that Anirudh's chain of thought stays.
I can just jump in if nobody's asking. Hi Anirudh. Has stress or anxiety ever bothered the getting into a sleep routine, and how to manage or cope with that?
Yeah. Hey Nishit, nice to meet you. Stress and anxiety have bothered me, and I think they're correlated. At times of high stress or in anxious states, I tend to sleep less, or my habits start deteriorating or changing. But the other way also is true. If I sleep less, it adds to stress and anxiety. So it's a cyclical thing. One affects the other. A classic chicken and egg problem. What do you fix first to fix the others? And I think at that time is what I've used at those times is alternative methods of calming myself down in order to, you have to break the cycle somewhere. Like you have to put a wrench into the wheel somewhere. So what I've doubled down on my meditation during those days. I've doubled down on more sun exposure during those days. I have kind of done a little more cardio than strength training to sweat a little more, to elevate my heart rate during exercises, because running, especially running for me personally, is cathartic. I run a little bit more to release all that pent up stress in me, and then that helps me. Of course, I get tired, so I sleep easily, and running or doing a little more cardio helps elevate some stress. So whatever is kind of the easier thing to tackle, kind of helps me break that positive feedback loop or that cycle easily. So when, like, especially during days of high stress at work or at family, if somebody's sick that I know of, and there can be many stressors in life, doing something that's calming to my nervous system helps me sleep better and then reset the ill effects. So yeah, I mean, it's something that I think is very personal, and one needs to figure out, or maybe people can talk to Sakshi and help figure out what can work for them. But I've employed a little more meditation, a little more cardio, sun exposure, like going out for walks during the day, stress busting foods like blueberries do wonder to me. So I tend to eat the whole 16-ounce box. I sound like kind of desperate to sleep at that time, that, oh no, I need more antioxidant. But yeah, these things help.
Thank you. This is enlightening and very relevant. As you say, it is cyclical. It's just like finding ways to cope, get out of it. Thank you.
Anirudh, this is like a primer in everything health, but with the core being sleep. So thank you for sharing your experiences. You've covered so many things like sun exposure, antioxidants, caffeine, kindness, gamut of everything in one.
Yeah.
Thing. So thank you. I have a few follow-up questions and then we'll open it up for everyone. We have kind of gotten
Sure.
deep and broad at the same time. One question I have, there are plenty that we can pick up from whatever you've said, but one thing that I would say clients face a lot, therefore I think speaking for everyone here, if I may, is it's not just me, it's my family and everyone who's involved in my well-being. So two questions in one. First is, how do you communicate that this is going to be non-negotiable for me? One example was you asking your son to keep the phone aside. But are there other ways of communication or things that you think are important to communicate to family vis-a-vis your health, in this case, sleep? The second one is, if everyone else is sleeping later, I am sleeping earlier, how do you manage that kind of a semi-conflict? Because connect is still important to me. Or you can say that it is transitionary. So long question short, with respect to family and you or friends, because connect is important, how do you communicate that sleep is non-negotiable to me going forward? What do you do if I'm struggling with that?
Sure. For my family, that problem did not arise because I was the one who was sleeping late. Everybody else wants sleep and they used to go to bed. So the bigger motivation for me to stay up was, okay, this is my me time. So 2 hours, 9 o'clock, everybody's off to bed, and this is my me time. I can go conquer the world in this time. So from 9 to 11 or 9 to 12 in the night, I can do a lot of those things. So kids are not bothering, my wife is asleep, and the home is perfect to get some stuff done. But having said that, it's the opposite in India. So everybody here, my parents and everyone here, they sleep. So at this time, even though I'm on vacation, and of course everybody would let me do, but I have friends back in the US also and here as well that sometimes I'm invited. Let's do something here. Let's just meet for a drink or something. And at managing that relationship and that communication, the way I handled it was, uh, let's talk about my family and not friends at this time. Like, instead of us staying up, I would prefer that we go, and whatever conversation we need to have, why don't we go have that during a walk in the morning? Because I know my parents are up in the morning and stuff. And so whatever needs to happen, we can do it in the morning. It's not necessary that we do it in the night. And they did agree to it. When it comes to friends, they knew what I was going through when I started Thrive, and they knew that I was taking care of my health. And it's funny how conversations changed over the years. When we meet, we talk more about health. We talk about graying hair. We talk about, and there's this funny thing that every time we meet, it's an organ recital. So we talk about failing organs in our body or aging organs in our body at this time. So people, at least the people that I have engaged with, people are starting to get a little more understanding, saying, okay, this guy will not come in for late night things. But since we all are a team, we all go together. We found alternate ways to hang out together. We go off for hikes. We meet for a run, or we do alternative things. So it's again, priority is sleep and taking care of your health and anxiety and general ecosystem of your body and whatever comes with it, inside and outside. Is that more important, or perhaps one beer with a friend? I'm not saying that's not important, but again, it's a very fine balance, and I don't think I'm giving a good answer here. But fortunately, I haven't had that struggle. People around me have been very supportive of everything. So yeah, I think that's my not so good or / expected answer.
No, this is helpful because you tied it with one priority, and you also said that it is important to have the whole ecosystem or have everyone with you. At least that is important for us to be able to achieve that. How you do it, it's up to you, but also communicating well. I mean, as you said that your friends were aware, your family is aware, and find alternate ways. That was very powerful. Find alternate ways of engagement. So good. So I'm kind of, in my head, we went from pre-contemplation all the way to action stage. We had discussion on everything. Is there anything that you think you wished or you think I must have asked or I missed and you want to answer? Then you can take it and then we'll open it for everyone else to ask. But you've been such a enlightening, this discussion was very, very enlightening. It was like a summary of everything, wellness, mental and physical. Go for it if you think I missed asking any question.
No, I think Sakshi, we covered everything. After my Thrive program, I figured that sleep was the most important thing. If I were to tackle this, everything else will fall into place. Like the complaints or the struggle was, as I probably wrote down in my survey, was I'm not finding time to exercise. I'm not finding time for things that I love to do. And then this is how I can actually make time for everything else. After putting everything into action, it's just a matter of maintenance. Like you covered on that thing as well, that there are times when there'll be more things demanding for your time, and it's probably okay to go off your routine. Habit takes some time to be formed. So even if you don't sleep on time for 2 or 3 days in a stretch, your body still will expect you to sleep at whatever time you want to sleep in. So I think the guilt should not come in there, because you're not really changing anything unless you do it for months at end. Then yes, it'll be a reset. But a couple of days here and there, I think you're still going to be able to maintain everything fine. And this was my aha moment after the end of the program, that everything ties back to sleep. Not saying exercising or diet or anything else is not important, but I felt for myself personally that if I tackled sleep, everything else will fall into place. Since I was more happy, I was making good food choices as well. I was not going to the supermarket in a groggy state and I made all the wrong choices. Doritos was the first pick at that time. But now, since I'm happy, more aware, more alert, I would also make good food choices. So everything kind of fell into place for me once I tackled my sleep.
What a note to end. It feels like you had a speech prepared, but I know it wasn't like that. But it was coming directly from the heart, so we could feel. Thank you so much, Anirudh. I wish it could reach to a wider audience, because the conversation we had felt like it could go beyond Thrive, because it was just so packed and you were so crisp about your answers. So thank you, Anirudh. I'll open for everyone to ask questions from Anirudh. If Anirudh, is it okay if we let everyone ask questions?
Sure, of course. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a good time. Maybe we'll reserve last 2 or 3 minutes for what is that one thing that you took away from Anirudh's notes on sleep. You can leave it in the chat box if you have any one thing that you are taking away. And also you can leave on the chat box that what is your one priority going to be. Thank you, Anirudh, for reminding one priority with respect to your health. Apart from that, you can ask questions to Anirudh now.
Hi, Anirudh.
Hey. Hi,
So
Sakshi.
nice to see you. So nice to see you. And such a
Likewise.
nice, yeah, it was so good. While you were talking, I did make some priority one for myself, which I've not been doing for some time. I want to. So yeah, one thing which just came up to my mind, like since you're traveling, you must have had jet lag. How did you deal with it, like when it comes to sleep?
Yeah, I've struggled with this. Like everybody who's been living in the US has struggled with jet lag, especially when you come to India, when it's a total 12-hour time shift, right? I've experimented with a lot of things. One thing that did not work for me was starting to sleep on India time, or at least shifting by a couple of hours a week before my travel. That has never worked because you're still working and everything. So it's kind of, I would say, borderline impractical. Tried sleeping on a plane. No no amount of neck pillows or support can help me sleep on a plane. It's just me. People can, I cannot. But the one thing that has helped immensely is water on the plane. Uh, I just chug water. When I'm thirsty, I don't ask them for their small 6 ounces of water that they give you. I just tell them, I walk up to the galley with my water bottle and ask them to fill it up, and I just chug it. Uh, that has helped a lot. And I read it somewhere, and I thought it's an easy thing to try, but it just is magical for some reason. And I probably finish, my water bottle is 32 ounces. I probably finished this from San Francisco to London, 8 hours of plane. I finished 8 of these. And that helps me a lot. I don't know how, why, I don't know the science behind it, but this is one thing that has worked. I'm still a little bit of jet lag. My sleep isn't great when I come back to India, but it bounces back very quickly. In 2 or 3 days, I'm back to my Indian rhythm. So if somebody is traveling, I encourage you to try it, see if this works for you.
Interesting. And I'm glad I asked this question, because earlier I thought, like, should I ask? Is that there isn't any solution to jet lag though? But yeah, this is helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
It works, and I don't like planes now because of the screens that they give to every seat. Because if I'm trying to sleep, those screens don't let you because everybody else is watching something. But that's there's no way out. But water for some reason helps.
Awesome. Thank you.
Anyone else wants to ask question, please? We still have 10 minutes to go.
I'll go. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Anirudh. Really, really good insight. Much needed, I would say. My question is like for consistency. A lot of us, it's weekends. So you can sleep in late and, so your bedtime also shifts because of that mindset. How does it work for you? Do you treat weekends as different, or is it like it has to be consistent every day so that the habit, kind of flows through? And yeah, what helps you to, I think it's mindset, but then yeah, I want to hear what's worked for you.
Yeah, it's the same as brushing. You brush 7 days a week, you go to bed 7 days a week at the same time. And because on weekends you don't go to work, and whatever you have to do on the weekend, personal time, you just do it during your non-sleep hours. My body wants me to sleep at the same time, 9:30, even on Saturday or Friday evenings or Saturday evening. It's just your body's way of telling that, yeah, this is time now. And I think I do it happily. Earlier, it used to be the case that, yeah, sleep at 1 a.m. on Sunday night through Thursday night. But now it's the weekend. I need to catch up on my sleep. That never happened. Your body will want to sleep at 1 a.m. also on a Friday and a Saturday night. But now that I'm sleeping at 9:30 other days, it's the same on a weekend. So in my mind, weekend is no different when it comes to sleep now.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Thanks for that. I just have one more question. So does it like just to understand, like when you start sleeping enough, it takes a while. There would have been a deficit, and I don't know if it is a bank like thing that works, but I realize that if you lose sleep on one night, it takes more than a few days to really recover. So has there been a point where you mentioned it in your thing, but just like waking up is an automatic thing, and the time the body the amount of sleep that you've got is enough, and the body says now it's time to get up. So has it been consistent enough after maybe a year or two of being consistent?
Yeah. I don't think I can conclusively say that I've made up for all the lost sleep. Like, past 20 years, I've been sleeping very less, and there is, I guess, no way to make up for it. It's just training the body to go to sleep at the right time and waking up on the time when it is needed. So if I sleep at 9:30, like people used to say, and I've seen this anecdotally, that 6 hours of sleep is okay during your working years. But that's not true for me. I sleep at 9:30 and I wake up by 5:30, quarter to 6, something like that. Full 8 hours my body needs. So I believe it's to each individual on how much sleep their own system needs per se. For me, it's 8 hours. So uh, when I use during the transition time, when I started sleeping early, I would try to sleep at 9:30, but I wouldn't really fall asleep until 11:30, 12, and still wake up at 6 because that's when my body was tuned to wake up. And then slowly, the wake up time remains the same, but the falling to sleep time kind of started increasing or becoming earlier when I wanted to. And so I found this very good optimum that I when I hit the bed at 9:30, I'm asleep in less than 5-10 minutes, and then waking up time I guess also depends on the season. In winters I would wake up by 6:30, quarter to 7, but in summers I'm up by 5. So that has happened. I really don't think I've made up for all the lost sleep that I've had. It's just now my body's trained to sleep whenever it needs to and wake up whenever it needs to.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was really
Sure.
helpful. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Kavita, for joining. I didn't welcome you. So, yeah. Now what we can do is we can still ask questions. We have 5 more minutes, or you can say what would your one priority be in the coming month, vis-a-vis sleep or anything else with respect to your wellness. Either any one of you can go.
I'll go.
Hi.
I've been on vacation in India for a month. I haven't been exercising. My one priority is getting back to the US and getting back into my workout. Sorry, I interrupted somebody.
Hey, it's okay. Soumya, it was you. I think you can go next. Thank you.
I think I want to ask question like before we go to this one priority which you're asking, Sakshi. So, hi Anirudh, this is Soumya, and I live in Hyderabad. Off late, I think I mentioned this to Sakshi during one of the Thrive sessions because I've been like exercising like consistently for the past 1 year, and for the past 6 months, everything got derailed, and I was able to realize that it's because of my disturbed sleep cycle because of a lot of change at workplace. So, and I have realized that the same thing has actually even penetrated to my family because the other day my son was complaining to me that my son is elder one is 10 years old. So, when I'm sleeping, something is kind of interrupting me and I'm not able to sleep probably like after like 1 hour after I just, go to the bed. So that was very alarming to me because no, I didn't want that thing to actually, go back to my kids or because I myself struggling. And I realized it kind of came as a jolt to me that, I have to fix the sleep routine, which I am having. Otherwise, I don't want my kids to face because my kids have a very, they actually even have to wake up like 6 o'clock because their bus is at like 6:50 a.m. in the morning. So if they don't go to bed at 9 a.m., it's gonna actually they'll not be having the good sleep amount when they actually go to their routine for their the next day school and all that stuff. So my question is that how do you, I know that maybe I missed because I joined a little late. How do you make sure that even kids also follow the same thing? I know that we have to set an example. I understand all that, but any tips for kids to make them maybe I'm asking a parenting tip here, when I'm going to to set a sleep routine. My question is around that. Maybe I know maybe it's not
Sure.
as you said, Anirudh, because for you it's the other way around, but
Yeah. No, my kids also, especially my elder one who's coming into his teens now. Sleep is becoming less and less of a priority for him, or he doesn't need to go to bed sooner. What's kind of worked for me is making them part of my winding down routine. Like I tell him to go hide my phone at 7:30. So he goes and hides my phone, and now he knows that I won't be distracted. I'll be there. So we'll probably read together or we'll do something together. and then go change into your PJs. So we all go at the same time into our own rooms and then change. And then, so it's kind of become a ritual and a routine. And then once you're done with everything that you had to do during your waking hours, there's nothing really else left to do. So eventually they just go to bed, and I go to bed as well. So it's like everybody's doing the same thing in parallel at the same time. That's kind of what has worked. But having said that, there are days when it's just extra. Maybe there was a dinner party at my home, and then I'm busy cleaning, doing the dishes or whatever. And then, of course, kids will use that time to engage, and then they get more stimulated. Maybe they're reading, or TV after 8 o'clock at my home is a no-no, so that's not an option. But they're reading, or they're playing, or they're looking for something, and they found something new, so they're getting more excited. So that then winding down is difficult. But in general, on an average day, we all do the same thing at the night. Everybody's either brushing their teeth, or everybody's going and changing. So it's the same thing for everybody, and that has helped.
To know. Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think I have to probably include him in my team of winding down then.
This was very powerful, Anirudh. In interest of time, please leave your questions in the chat box, and I'll go back to Anirudh. And Anirudh, 2 questions. One, how was your experience of sharing your insights? All of us, I think, will resonate that it was very powerful, and all of us are taking something away from it. The second one is there any parting thought after listening to the questions that you would like to tell us? So how did you feel sharing your insights and your journey? Anything you would like to say before we close the session?
I think it's one answer for the 2 questions. It's always amazing to share things with fellow thrivers, and it reinforces and it reminds one of something that they might not be doing to start doing again. So it's always a very good reminder for oneself as well. And during the course, I started reminding myself about my program and about things that I had learned but not put into action. So this is kind of like a reinforcement for me as well. And it's really, really good to connect with people who have done the program with you, Sakshi. So hit me up. I would say hit me up on I'm not on social media, sorry, except for LinkedIn. So hit me up on LinkedIn if you want to talk. I'll be more than happy to connect and chat. And it's always great to talk to everyone here.
Thank you. Anirudh, do we have your permission that when we send out the video, we send your LinkedIn profile?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. This was so helpful. And with Anirudh's permission, I think if you all have questions, please send a message to him on LinkedIn. This was very, very powerful, Anirudh. Caffeine, I've not been able to get rid of. So you're listening to you, I'm still being reminded that please cut it down. And so my intake is very little, but you are reminding that zero is possible. So thank you to each one of you. One more minute, maybe we have, if all of us can say one thing we are taking away from the session. We've already said everything. For me, caffeine. Maybe 1 or 2 words. Caffeine for me.
Stress busting and family wind down. First, I thought for me it was stress busting techniques, but I think family wind down is even a bigger take. And thank you for that question too. Yeah, we are all struggling with that. Kids also, and yeah, maintaining kids cycle with our own cycle. Thank you.
For me, keeping the device out of the bedroom, like in the night when everything is quiet, your thoughts are flooded, flooding your mind. And then I tend to do some research every time I have an idea pop in my head. So yeah, that's a big takeaway for me, and that probably will massively help in other things as well, like being present mainly. Thank you.
Same for me, it's the jet lag insight. I need hydration.
Well, Swati, Soumya, Kavita, if you have anything to share, 1 or 2 words out of this conversation, then it'll be.
Yeah, it was it was a strong motivation for me. Like I've been thinking, as I said, I've been thinking about reducing my caffeine content, and I know I should increase my water content. So I'm gonna get back to it. So thanks, Anirudh. And yeah, it was very well said how you did like tell how you overcame all of your problems. It's gonna, some of things I'm able to say, but some of things are gonna be in my mind when I'm doing it. So I'll probably practice and improve on my shortcomings. Thank you.
I think the tips for family winding down, I'm going to take it home. And also, I'm not sure if caffeine is something that, I'm only having like this much. That's just like how Sakshi mentioned, like in the morning, that's it. I've able to cut down. Like I used to have like tea twice. I'm able to cut down, but I'll try to see in case if cutting down that will help improve my sleep routine as well. Yeah, that's it for me. Family winding down. And of course, like reduced use of gadget after. I mean, I have a rule that after 7 p.m. there is no turning on of TV and gadgets. But maybe for me and my husband also, we have to practice the same, because maybe we have to set an example for our kids. So I have to have a little chat with my husband now on that.
Don't blame Anirudh. Please don't blame Anirudh, okay? Okay, Kavita or Kavita, if you have something to say, then please go
Yes,
ahead.
actually. Yeah, sorry I joined late. Yeah, so the little time I heard, I think everything was very like eye-opening. Water and the family wind down. Yeah, I'm going to implement both of them. I think really good tips. Yeah, thank you so much. And I look forward to the recording. So that'll be good.
Well, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Anirudh, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.